What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Wars in the Stars, episode 4 of our movie reviews. Today, we are going to review Spider-Man No Way Home. Wow, what an experience. What a journey it's been to this movie. We, specifically on this channel, have talked about it a lot, but obviously on social, it's been a big topic of discussion. Um, just wow, to finally see it come to fruition. There's some
I gotta,
fucking fantastic performances in this film, and I think we'll get to them.
I gotta say, I think we should keep the first part spoiler free.
Yeah,
Probably
sure, yeah.
just for about a 5 minute spoiler free review. I'll say this is easily a top three MCU movie. I already told Drew it's fighting Infinity War for number two. Um, yeah, crazy. The twists, the turns, the characterization in this movie is unmatched to almost any MCU movie.
Yeah, so my spoiler-free thoughts. The first act is really fastly paced. That's really my big complaint, I think, and it's not a bad first act. It's just fast.
Yeah.
Uh, and I will say there's a portion of the characters that are pretty well absent
Mhm.
from the first part of the second act to the end of the film, which I get. Um, but like you said, man, this is a great character study of Peter Parker. Um, holy, I got to give some shout out to some performances. William Dafoe is the Green Goblin. He's might be the best comic book villain.
Incredible performance.
There's
But
a specific scene, um, and we'll talk about it. I think it's my favorite scene in the movie, where he's just an absolute menace to society. And it's probably my favorite. It's of all movies, it might be my new favorite scene. It's absolutely menacing. Listen, I love the first Spider-Man movie, but holy
mm,
shit, I didn't think he could do any better. And he's
well,
doing all these stunts, by the way. He said the only way he'd come back if he did all the stunts. He's 65, 66, doing all these stunts and shit. It's
yeah,
just it's it's unreal. This is Tom Holland's best performance as Spider-Man by far.
yeah. No debate.
Jamie Foxx, I thought, was really good in this film. I'm not a huge fan of Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man, which, by the way, did you watch those before this movie or not? No, no.
I don't think I needed to,
No.
but I won't say anything as to why I feel that way.
Um, the cinematography is great in this film. This film is
That's
shot beautifully.
amazing cinematography. It is like if they gave Ryan Johnson's cinematography with like the Russo brothers Infinity War writing. It was amazing.
The the humor is great. I think the humor works.
I disagree. I think that's the biggest problem with the movie.
Oh, you think so? You think so? Well, I will say the humor with a specific set of characters works, and I think
No.
you don't think so? And
I'm
I will say, okay. Spoilers start now. I want to just get into it. Okay, we kind of give our.
Juicy
I just,
thought.
I just want to start with this. Toby and Andrew are 100% coming back. I don't see why they won't.
They have to. They have to. I
By the
this
way,
was
I love that trio. It's my new favorite trio.
yes. This movie um this week was huge for Marvel. Huge. Hawkeye was amazing. This episode of Hawkeye was by far the best episode of Hawkeye. Uh,
Easily.
Yelena was amazing, but the big reveal of Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, and then this movie just opens up with Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, just
And
casually.
I love how they do it. He's just like, yeah, his blind man is the lawyer. And then I love it. He's just catches the brick. And he's
He's
like,
like,
how did you
how
do
did
that? He's like,
I'm
I'm a
a
good
real?
lawyer.
It's
Um,
crazy. Like, what is happening right now?
but it really worked too, Alex. It does, and that's the thing I got to say about Toby and Andrew. It doesn't feel forced. This is No Way Home feels like if the Rise of Skywalker was done right.
Yes, quick pacing, good story.
It just works. It
It
just
did.
works.
Again, I will say there were some elements that didn't work for me. The humor was one of them, with like Ned, MJ, and Peter. Um, didn't wasn't really huge on their chemistry per se a lot in this movie.
Yeah, I
Uh,
feel that.
some of it was really good, some of it was pretty poor. But man, the pure chemistry between Toby, Andrew, and Tom was immaculate. It was amazing. And I think the big thing also was, first of all, I got the joke that I wanted so bad in the MCU when they got brought in, was the red suit section.
Oh, I
I
thought
was
you were
so,
going to talk about the ultimate meta joke of Andrew saving MJ. What you
no,
joking about?
I mean, in my opinion, like it was really good, but it was kind of like weirdly acted. It kind of felt not stiff, but kind of just felt like
When Andrew
mm,
starts to cry, did you just
he,
feel like that?
he cries a lot, bro.
He does. He's the emotional one, bro.
He is. But bro, this movie, I have to say, by far, breakout character of this movie was Aunt May.
Yeah, and it's a character who's really underwhelming, I think, in the first two. And I was talking about it with my brother, and I said, well, we don't see Ben die in this trilogy, right? So we don't see that for Tom. And what I kind of gather from the movies is he's not really close with Ben, or as close as Toby was with Ben, right?
Yeah.
So I think this one was really emotionally impactful to him. You could make the case that like Ben was like a deadbeat uncle or something like that. Who knows? But like this one, I felt it. I
Yeah.
felt it.
I,
And I gotta
I cried six times during the movie. Like it was water all day long. And I will say, it is kind of a weird characterization. I love May's character arc through the trilogy, through the Homecoming trilogy. I like how she starts off without knowing Peter Spider-Man. She's like, "You ever see that? Walk the other direction." And
right.
now encouraging him, like, "Hey, you have a moral, you know, obligation to do this stuff." She
Yeah,
pulled the "with great power comes great responsibility" line,
right.
which I will say was another kind of thing I had wrong with the movie. A lot of the references were very, very on the nose.
You
Like,
know, I'm
like,
somewhat of a scientist myself.
yeah, like, oh, I understood that reference,
Right, right.
dude. Literally, dude, my theater.
Just trying to do better. It's just like, you know,
Weird. They started screaming when Andrew came through, but it was almost dead beat silent when Toby appeared.
I think it's well, it could be because like Toby is like that's like 15 to 20 years old, his trilogy. But I was like, I started to cry when Toby came in. I was like, oh my God, am I
I
actually
literally
seeing this?
I was like this when both of them came through. My brother, because he saw it the day before. He
Yeah.
started nudging my shoulder. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Are you, like, you got Tourette's or something? Like, what's going on? And then Andrew popped through the portal, bro. I literally like fell back. Like, that scene from Endgame when Tony discovers time travel. I literally was just like, oh my gosh, it's happening. It's
It's
happening.
crazy. It's so crazy. And I like how Toby doesn't come in with this. I love that first scene in their introduction. And it's just like, yeah, prove to us you're Spider-Man. He climbs on the wall and he's like, there's like, you gotta climb on the
Right,
ceiling. He's
bro?
like, it's like, no, I'm not climbing on the ceiling, bro.
Yeah. The grandma on that scene carrier. She carried that
Right.
scene.
Yeah, yeah. Totally.
I
Um,
will also talk about was kind of surprised that Toby and Andrew had more of a role in this than Doctor Strange. Kind
did it not
of,
work for you?
no, it worked. It was like, oh, I would have thought Strange, you know, I thought Strange would have been, honestly, the way the movie was going up. I was like, oh, Strange is going to be the sixth person on that team. Well, they weren't even really a team because like
Yeah, they all had
two of them were trying to get the box because they wanted to go back.
right.
Three were like, no, I don't want to go back. It was weird, but it worked.
I also I also
I,
gotta say, I will say, this joke has to have worked for you. Man, I thought you were black.
yeah, I literally was just like, oh my gosh, because I had heard that Miles Morales was rumored for the movie and that someone who apparently was working on the film said that the Sunflower song by Post Malone was in the soundtrack. So I was like, oh my gosh, is Miles gonna come through? Because and then it didn't happen. I was kind of bummed, but like didn't damage the movie for me. Um, I literally the whole theater started laughing at the joke, bro.
I
Um,
was dying. I'm like, no way, he just said that straight up. That was so funny. Which I will say, I want to ask. So you're not the biggest fan of that first Spider-Man trilogy, right? You're not massive into it. What did you think of Toby in this movie?
I love the Toby movies. What?
I thought you said. I thought you said I.
Dude,
I thought you said I
I
overrate
don't
him
like
too much.
Spider-Man 3. There's a difference.
Okay, that is true. What did you think of him?
Dude, he was awesome. He
I think,
he looked a little aged. I'll give him that.
dude, it caught me off guard when he started to speak. I'm like, that's not what you sound like.
Yeah. Also, I will say they de-aged Alfred Molina, but like you could have de-aged Tobey Maguire too.
I don't know about that. I kind of like the darker, or like the grittier Spider-Man, I guess. I kind of like that.
I really like that we got, yeah, I kind of like that when we see Andrew and Toby, they're not from the events that like Electro or Green Goblin or
Right.
Hawk are from. They're from present time for them, so they're in their years like 2024.
And they're still
So
Spider-Man. Presumably, they're still active as Spider-Man. Yeah.
yeah, it was crazy, and I also I talk about the Arrowverse and Arrow specifically a lot, and I think this movie did so much better than Arrow, than any of the shows could have done, or almost any MCU identity thing than ever. I like that Peter essentially just embraced it. Like he eventually just didn't care anymore.
Right. Right. Yeah. And it was.
We'll talk about post credit scenes in a little bit. I gotta say, I recorded one of them fully. Fully.
Yeah. So,
Was little upset about one of them. I'll say
the
that.
first one.
Little
I know
upsetting.
why. I know why. Because it's like, why? Okay. We'll just go into it. So, we'll bounce around. Who cares? So my thing with it is, why do you bring him in to the MCU in the first place?
And then just get rid of him.
Yeah, oh, cool piece of the symbiotes there, but that's not going to be a thing until like the next movie.
That's
It's
what?
like, so what's
That's not gonna be for years.
so it's like my question is like, so what's Venom 3 about?
Yeah. Well, here's my other thing: is Tom Holland recently came and said that he wants to take a break from acting to start a family and whatnot. So what?
Right.
Are we not going to get? Oh, cool. We're going to get Tom versus Venom in what? 2028, 2027?
I feel like and I feel like this is where the studios kind of differed on opinions and you could kind of see it. I don't think Sony, when they originally thought Venom was going to the MCU, was like, "Oh, he's just going to leave again." It's like, and by the way, it does bring up a thing now. So like when Venom talks about the symbiote hive mind, I
Mhm.
guess it's multiversal because he knows who Peter Parker is,
Yeah.
which is really fascinating. So my thing is that the same Venom from Toby's? It can't be.
You know what? I would honestly just say, let's just say the Eddie Brock and Venom that we saw was not from the Eddie Brock Venom universe, like with Tom Hardy. It was an alternate one.
Oh God.
Same Eddie, same all of them. Because then at least I would say that I'm not so. No, I would still be underwhelmed if they said, "Oh, it was an alternate universe."
And I really love Venom, and I loved him in this. But like every time he talks, it's just hilarious.
Yeah,
Eddie, we got drunk.
yeah. I also was like, I like how the guy was talking about the blip. I wish he was gonna say. I wish he would have said, "Not again." Like just.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love when he's like, I eat like he's like, I eat brains or something like that. I eat people, and he's like, the guy's like, sir, my whole family disappeared for 5 years. He's like, and he's like, oh, that's impressive. That's impressive. um, but yeah, I was kind of underwhelmed by it too. Yeah, oh, cool, symbiotes left over, but it's like I kind of was more interested in a Venom versus Spider-Man than just him getting the symbiote. I still think it will probably happen. Um, just not sure when now.
Because I gotta say, and we'll basically segue this into the second post credit scene. I don't think Multiverse of Madness is the end of the multiverse for the MCU, and it
Oh, no
definitely
way.
Loki. Um,
No way.
so I gotta ask, second post credit scene, what did you think? Multiverse of Madness trailer.
Um, well, it's the longest post-credit scene, I think. Might be.
It was
Uh,
2 minutes and like 30 seconds.
so we get Wanda, and they tried to throw in a curveball, obviously. They tried to present Wanda as helping, um,
Uh,
Strange, which she's definitely
Also,
gonna be the villain of that film.
huge thing. This is gonna be, as far as I'm aware, our first Disney Plus shows crossover into the MCU. I mean,
Right, because
no, No Way Home had the Rogers the Musical banner, but this is like a huge reference.
direct, right, Westview. It's literally said in the trailer.
He said he's not here to talk about Westview.
He's here for help. So it appears that, we talked about this a little bit, or I at least did. It's like I was kind of worried, how does Mordo play into this whole movie if we're gonna do a multiverse thing, right? So it
Yeah,
seems like Mordo, while this whole multiverse thing is going down, he becomes aware of it. Just seems like What If Strange. I think this is probably the same Strange from What If, which is crazy.
Supreme baby, Supreme.
And he
Which
looks
I
great.
wonder, do you think this is how MCU Strange is going to get the Time Stone back?
Maybe. I don't know if they're gonna go that route though. It could be. We see him fight the Shumagorath looking creature.
Yeah,
It looks, by the way, this movie is still 6 months out. It looks fantastic already.
that's great.
Um,
Costume design is a little shoddy. Gotta say it. Not a fan of that Wanda
I l-
costume.
I like Mordo's outfit. I like Mordo's whole new look.
He looks cool.
But I'm like, why did they change Wanda's outfit?
Yeah, I loved the sleeveless thing, like the cloak, all of it. And then now she has like this weird like armbands and all that. The only thing that they really kept from her new Scarlet Witch costume is the crown.
Yeah,
That's really it.
and
Now
they also, well, it's obviously for toys, but whatever.
I gotta say, WandaVision gave us the big reveal that the Scarlet Witch is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme, which, by the way, can we talk about what they said about the Sorcerer Supreme in this movie?
Right, Wanda's the Sorcerer Supreme, right?
Wong is the technical Sorcerer Supreme
Right,
because Strange is Blip. Now, granted, we know he's not the actual because the Ancient One said that Strange is meant to be the best of them.
right.
And this Sorcerer Supreme is the best of the sorcerers. So, do you think we'll see the Darkhold in Multiverse of Madness?
For sure. For sure. And so my thing with Multiverse of Madness is I think that trailer is only like a small cusp of
Yeah.
how great that movie. You thought this movie was nuts. There's gonna be X-Men characters, like Sony, like there's everything in that movie. Loki, like there's just every weird thing you could possibly think of in that movie.
Do you think
Just
we'll see Owatu in there?
I know you want to see him, and I think it's a very good possibility we could.
I
And I think
know.
it'd be interesting to have an interaction with him. And so my thing is like, when does this all take place in uh, comparison to
No way
uh,
home.
no, into What If? Because
Oh,
why? Because how do we get this Dark Supreme
yeah.
Strange?
That's the big question that I also had is
Unless it's
what
a different Doctor Strange from what we see in What If, but I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. I think it's him. I think my biggest question is what and this is honestly a big thing about it's one of those things, it's like a big question for Kenobi, like what could be so big to get Obi-Wan to come away from Tatooine, to leave Luke out in the open. But I think the big question is going to be what could be so big that Supreme Strange had to leave that pocket reality with Ultron and Killmonger.
Right. And by the way, I just want to add, this week was the epitome of why Star Wars is failing. You know what the discourse online is right now? And Star Wars doesn't know. You saw the new Eclipse thing, right? The new Eclipse trailer or whatever. You know about David Cage, right? You hear about that?
No, I didn't. What's going on?
So the guy who runs Quantum Dream, who's making the game, he basically reportedly said, "We don't make games for F slurs." Um, and Lucasfilm decided to so people are upset, and it's like, well, rightfully so, but it's like the epitome of why Star Wars is failing is because they can never get shit right, and Marvel just does stuff like they did today. They drop a movie that's it might be the second highest grossing film of all time behind Endgame because it made $121 million last night. That's second to Endgame's 157 million. And granted, that's in a pandemic.
Yeah,
Um, which is insane.
yeah. It's crazy. Um, yeah, just this movie. It
And
did.
it's a good film too. It's easily better than Endgame in my opinion. It's fan service done right.
It is. Endgame felt like it tried really hard to be either funny or like I understood that reference material.
Right. Yeah.
This one kind of also felt like that again. Big problem with my movie was the references were a little on the nose. Um,
The power of the sun in the palm of your hands. um,
also, again though, with great power comes great responsibility. There was a few other ones. Again, the web shooter joke was a little again on the nose. Um, but yeah, I really am interested to see, did curing all of those people actually do anything?
no,
Because you have to think you're still sending them back to the moment that they left.
no, they're dead.
So if you think about it, that would mean Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and the other Spider-Man created like what, five different Nexus events?
Wait, so in well, the same event would kind of happen in Spider-Man 2, right? Doc Ock would still sacrifice himself, I guess.
I would think so, because I don't know.
What would what would happen with Green Goblin? He'd just be like, "Ah, it's me again. It's Norman." It's just like,
Yeah,
well, how would I believe that? Electro, I don't know.
I
Um,
I don't know when in that movie they took him. I didn't watch it. Well, no,
Sandman, the
they
same
just
thing would happen.
they were describing the event where they came from, but I didn't watch this movie, so I don't know those events.
When did Sandman say he came in? He never said, right? He never specified.
I don't think he did.
Presumably after Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, probably.
Um, And by the way, I do like how like this movie kind of differentiates the fact that this isn't the Sinister Six, right? They kind of all like sure they work together, I guess, but they're all like they all have separate motivations. Like Sandman like wants to go back home, right? Because he wants to see his daughter. Um Electro's like, "Yo, bro, I'm about to die, man. Don't make me go back."
Yeah.
Uh Yeah, I know. It's and I want to go back to Toby and Andrew. And I said it before and I texted you. I said I don't think this is the last time we see them together. One,
No,
because of how good their chemistry. Two, and I was like, God damn it, Alex was right. Toby dies not
yeah.
sacrificing himself really.
I
But
literally
that's
gasped so loud. I was like, my
but doesn't it feel weird
favorite.
that he doesn't die?
Yeah, because it's kind of going to be like, well, when he goes back, he's going to be stabbed.
Right,
And no one's like supportive. But I like how the explanation of how he's going to survive the stab was, I've been stabbed before.
right. Yeah. It's been stabbed before. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It is weird though because these Toby and Andrew, like they didn't update their suits at all. Well, Toby fixed his suit, but also new spider suit for Tom Holland looked ugly. It was ugly.
Wait, you don't like the new comic suit?
No, the blue doesn't work. The blue
I
does not
love
work.
it.
The red looks cool, but the blue does not. It looks
I
like
disagree, man.
it looks like they took like the red from the upgraded suit, the blue from the Stark suit, and brightened it and just kind of threw it at the wall. and
And
we're
dude,
like,
it does look really bright. It does look really
no,
bright.
it literally looks like if you shined a flashlight at him, just your eyes would melt because of how bright it is.
It does.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the
So
way the movie ended, by the way, with Peter basically sacrificing his life in a sense because nobody knows who he is now. Which I guess also then
I'm
sets,
really happy about it.
yeah, because I think it's obviously setting up what the plot of the first new movie in the trilogy is going to be about. Is Peter making MJ and Ned remember their relationship?
So my thing with it is, Alex, is I think I didn't even think about this before. So now this next trilogy, Tom's trilogy, it's gonna be more like Toby's and Andrew's were. It's him all by himself.
Hmm.
All by himself. That's all he's
I
got now.
want to ask: do you think this new trilogy is where we could get Gwen Stacy, where we could get Harry Osborn, where we could get the MCU, Norman Osborn, Doc Ock,
Next movie.
Eddie Brock?
Next
Like,
movie. So my thing is I don't think, if I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think we see Ned and Zendaya at all in the next film.
I think we will.
I I kind of would like it better if they kind of left it how it is. I kind of like that ending. Just like he's,
Kind of feels like, well, then why would you promise that you're going to see them or that you're going to say or you're going to remember them and then not go on that promise?
but you would have to think it would be a great sacrifice. It would be so in the character of Peter Parker to be like, your life was like a hell with me. You're living your dream now. You're both going to MIT. What if I stay away for a little bit? And I think eventually he will go back. By the end of that college trilogy, yeah, they'll probably be back together. But
But
it'll
I
be a
think
thing. But he'll have a fling with Gwen Stacy. He'll be friends with Harry, and something will go wrong there, and then he'll go back to his real friends. That's what I think will happen.
this is my pitch, Sony. I'll let you use my pitch for this. I think that a cool thing could be is that uh, for Ned in this movie, crazy by the way, kind of made Doctor Strange look like a bitch because he struggled so hard to open a portal in Doctor Strange one, and then Ned did it a lot.
Right,
Um,
right. That does do it a lot. Yeah.
so I think what we could see is we could make something up that him using the Aldrich magic will trigger the spell to not work on him, and he'll see Peter with best friends like Harry and whatnot, and he'll become the Hobgoblin because Peter didn't uphold his end where he said he'll come back to them.
Yeah, I could see something like that. I think that would be really interesting. Or I was thinking not necessarily that he starts to remember, but like something along the lines that Spider-Man does something with Gwen or does something with Harry and like they're somehow at MIT or something like that. I don't know. Something along those lines. Like Ned sees something that he doesn't like from Spider-Man and decides to become the Hobgoblin. That's when Peter has to fight him. That would be something really interesting. But I saw
Hmm.
somebody say today on TikTok, like, "Oh, this movie was good for like the first 8 innings," and then he's like, "The last inning or the last 10 minutes was kind of like was." I'm like, "The last 10 minutes of this movie is beautiful. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Like a
Um,
boy becoming a man. He's finally becoming the Spider-Man. He's okay. So my thing with Tom is he's been good. This movie, he was great. I felt like I could make an argument he's the best Spider-Man. Like
yeah,
I finally could make the legit argument.
I think honestly he's I literally have his web shooters. I'm wearing the Yuri Lowenthal
Right.
Spider. I think he's honestly fighting him after this movie as best Spider-Man.
Yeah, I do.
The
Totally
thing that I
agree.
love, the thing that I loved about the Yuri Spider-Man is that he was put in
But you think
the
he's the best live action Spider-Man?
Tom after this movie by far.
Who did you have
Tom,
before? Toby?
yeah.
Okay.
Toby, although I wasn't a huge fan of him in Spider-Man 3, except for every part when he's Bully Maguire. Uh, like from a character and writing aspect, I wasn't a huge fan of him in that movie. But still, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, immaculate. It was great writing.
Right.
Um, but Yuri, there was something about him that he felt more relatable than either of the three. Um, that I really it was just really good. It was really good writing. But this movie just worked on so many levels that is crazy. Um, just this movie really sold me on Tom, like fully. Um, I wasn't fully a huge fan of him in Civil War. Um, he was okay in Infinity War and Endgame. He kind of just served a purpose of the quippy, funny guy. Um, Homecoming, he was good. Far From Home was okay, but this movie sold it. It was awesome.
He's fantastic. He's
I
fucking
love
fantastic.
the end with him and Green Goblin. He's gonna kill Green Goblin, and I like how he actually at one point when Toby steps in to stop him, I like
He
how he
tries.
he tried to overpower him, and Toby basically like just
Nope.
he didn't even shake his head. He just you could just see in the eyes, and then Tom just stopped. It was one of those things that like wow. Um, could you imagine if that's how the movie ended? Is with Tom's Peter Parker killing Norman Osborn.
Right.
I literally, when I say that would have been the darkest ending to any Spider-Man movie, I would have put it on that.
And I think it's my. I have a lot of favorite moments, but I think it's um what I appreciate about this movie is that it gives all three of them a great arc, and I think that was a great moment for Toby's Spider-Man. And I hate the debate that's on TikTok. Oh, that proves Toby is stronger than Tom. Look at that. He stopped him. It's like, shut up, man. It's just a great scene. Um,
And
it's just a
I,
beautiful moment.
I, again, I haven't watched Andrew, um,
And by the way,
movies.
I will say after this movie, it's kind of hard for me to rank them all because I think they're all good and they bring their own uniqueness. You know, Andrew's the emotional, heart on the sleeve. Toby's more of the adult, the older one, and Tom's just the new guy who's doing his own thing, trying to find his way. And I think they bring their own uniqueness to the character. And it's just like, which one do you relate to more? And I love all three of them.
Yeah, I think that uh, this movie did very well with all of them. I'm excited to hopefully see them come back. I would really like them to all come back. Like we said, I think it almost is guaranteed that they will. I just, I don't know. I think a lot of people complained about the Uncle Ben being absent in the MCU, which it was obviously that thing was filled with Tony Stark. Um, which again, it's a great thing that like in each of these trilogies, you know, they got that not pep talk, but that thing that lingers with them, hopefully for the rest of their life. Spider-Man, you know, with Toby, we got with great power comes great responsibility. With Andrew, I don't remember how it's fully worded, but it's essentially a rewording of with great power comes great responsibility. And then Tom got that, but I still think I'm gonna ask you this: out of the Tom two, because he got two basically big motivational things. Of course, the with great power comes great responsibility, and the line from Tony that says, "If you about this, you shouldn't have it." Like, which one do you think works better for you?
I think the great power comes great responsibility.
Dude, May's death caught me off guard so much. She was again. I said it. She's the standout character of this movie for me.
Oh, absolutely. She was
Absolute 180 from Homecoming and Far From Home.
I'm like the I'm like, no. She's actually gonna I'm like, I knew she was gonna die. I'm like, yeah, he's definitely gonna kill her. And then I'm like, oh, maybe not. And then she's like, I'm catching my breath. I'm like, nah, nah, fam. Nah, nah. And then he puts the hand on the back of the head and it's just blood. I'm like, nah, nah. And like the I think it's the best shot of the film. After that, he's on he's on the roof and he's watching J. Jonah Jameson's message with the rain coming down. And that poster that it's the I can't even like it's probably my favorite shot of the movie. And by the way, what they do with the spider tingle, bro, is awesome. With the
Yeah,
spider tingle,
the
where they like
sound.
freeze. Yes.
Yes, it looks like, or it sounds like Tom is like like time is frozen around him as things are happening. And what I really liked about it is honestly his spider sense is honestly the most overpowered thing about him. That man is able to
Right.
sense things that are not even in his vicinity, like are not even obvious. Like he was able
He
to
sensed
sense.
the Norman thing.
Yes, he sensed that Norman wasn't right. It was crazy. It was crazy. Just far like people always complained about like that scene where Aunt May throws the banana at him.
Right.
Oh, your Peter tingle, it didn't work. And it's just like, well, people still clearly don't understand. He is kind of recovering. It's something very small that happened to him. He kind of died, and was
Yeah.
brought back. Something very small. Everyone in their life goes through that.
Right.
Um,
Right. Yeah.
so he was recovering, and then at the end of the movie with Mysterio,
And by the
he
way, I have to mention these characters that are unblipped really don't know that they died, as we see in Hawkeye, bro. That is terrifying. Imagine just disappearing and then coming back and being like, "Yo, you died for 5 years, man. I don't know what to tell you."
yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it's it's weird to think that just how overpowered Tom has become in this movie. Um, it's funny because those videos like the who would win and it's like Ned versus like Superman. Have you
Right.
seen?
Right. Yeah.
Dude, this movie actually has a case to make him powerful. He was using Aldrich magic.
I'm
Like
like, I thought about it. I'm like, wasn't the whole theme of Doctor Strange 1 like the fact he couldn't open portals? And then
yeah,
this dude's Ned is just bringing in Peter Parker's bro. He's just like, bring in Peter Parker. He's
yeah,
just bringing in different Peter Parkers. I'm like, bro, what is happening right now?
it was
Uh,
crazy. I still think honestly the biggest reveal of this movie was Matt Murdock for me.
I feel like it worked because they didn't like say, oh shit, here's Daredevil, bro. It's just like, yeah, here's the lawyer, Matt Murdock.
I think the big thing though is that we were confirmed. Oh, if we do have Daredevil in the MCU, it's going to be played by Charlie Cox. The when, the where, and the all that still is. We don't know when that's going to happen. And then he fucking was in the movie, bro. I I saw the red sunglasses, bro, and I was like, I literally like my heart stopped. It skipped a beat. I was
Him
like,
and Kingpin in the same week. Isn't that crazy?
now, granted, do I think they're the same
No.
Daredevil and Kingpin from Netflix universe? No, just the same people. Um, Different things have happened, but it's like, wow. Either I mean, I have to question. I wonder how long he's been Daredevil at this point, or even if he is yet. Because I feel like we definitely would have heard
Well,
what's
and my
happening.
thing is like, well, I feel like he might be because it seems like his senses are pretty in tuned.
Yeah,
Um, which by the
catches.
way, like in the comics, it's talked about like his senses like might even be stronger than Spidey's at some point.
Yeah,
So, and by the way, if there is a Daredevil Disney Plus show, I really want to see those two team up. Please give me that. Please give me that. Please give me that. Daredevil and Spidey. Please give me that. Please.
yeah.
You set it
Also,
up here. Please. Please.
I like how he was able to clear Peter's name, but he wasn't able to clear Happy's name.
Just like, yeah, Happy. You're gonna need a good lawyer, bro. You're gonna need a good lawyer.
Catches the brick. How did you do that? I'm
I'm
a
a
good
good
lawyer.
lawyer.
It was funny. They
Which
again.
oh go
I'll
ahead,
go
keep going.
first.
So my big problem with the movie is like that whole thing kind of feels weird to me and too fast. The whole Mysterio thing, it's just like get it over with.
Yeah,
Like it feels like get it over with, get it over with.
I kind of am upset because if you think about it, you know, Strange reversing people knowing about Peter Parker, in theory, shouldn't undo what Mysterio did because he leaked Spider-Man as Peter Parker, so people know who Spider-Man is. They just don't know who Peter Parker is. It's weird. It's a crazy loop in my head. In my
Bro, my thing is just like, bro, the Daily Bugle, bro. You have archive footage, I hope. Why can't you just go and look at your archive? Does it erase the archive footage? I don't know. Is that how the spell works, I guess?
ultimate plot armor right there, bro. So I gotta ask, this might be a little easy for me at least. This is the last MCU project. Well, Hawkeye still has one more episode. Um, let's rank our MCU projects this year. That's going to
This
include
is number one.
and then the movies.
Okay, so separate the movies and shows.
No, in the same list. So let's see. There's WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, Black Widow, What If, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Hawkeye, and then Spider-Man No Way Home. I think that's all
Did
of
you
them.
include What If?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so easily number one is this. This might be the best MCU movie ever. It's
Right.
easily the best Spider-Man movie ever.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
Loki number two.
Disagree.
Shang-Chi 3.
Flip them for me.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. Eternals 4.
Nope.
Falcon 5.
I gotta write this down.
Okay, it's a little tough. Hawkeye 6.
What?
Yeah.
You are crazy.
Um,
Did you understand my Yelena reference?
I did. I did. Oh my god, she was so good last episode. She was fan. I gotta say, dude, Florence Pugh is I'd like she has like the Robert Downey Jr. effect. Like
Yeah.
she just steals every scene she's in.
No one could replace her as Yelena.
Bro, she's like she was a comedic genius and then a menace in that scene at the same time. Like, oh shit, I do not want to mess with this girl. Uh, which by the way, we have another crazy week next week. We have a Hawkeye review and a Book of Boba Fett preview. Which by the way, just like the Book of Boba Fett, like what the hell is that, man? Like,
Oh, right?
like that's still we still have that coming out. Um,
Delay it, Disney. Delay it.
okay, I said Hawkeye at 6. So what am I missing?
Oh,
Black Widow.
I forgot to include, because technically it is MCU canon, Venom Let There Be Carnage.
Let's not include it. Well, it is a superhero movie. Fuck it, we'll include it. Okay, I would put that. I love that movie. Uh,
It's such a bad good movie.
put it above Falcon.
I'm
So
trying to make
5.
I'm making my list right now.
Okay, so Spider-Man, Loki, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Venom, Falcon Winter Soldier, Hawkeye. What am I missing? What if Black Widow, WandaVision. Thoughts?
Um Hold on, say it again?
Spider-Man,
Yep.
Loki,
Okay.
Shang-Chi,
Okay.
Eternals, Venom Let There Be Carnage, Falcon the Winter Soldier,
Okay.
Hawkeye, What If, Black Widow, WandaVision.
I agree with Hawkeye being that far back.
Only really liked 2 of the episodes. That was this past one and episode 3. 1, 2, and 4 are kind of lacking for me, and there's some storylines that have been lacking, like what they did with Jack. I'm not really loving, but everything else I've kind of really enjoyed. The Echo storyline's kind of gone downhill for me a little bit. It was, by the way, how did you feel about seeing some new Ronin footage, like actual like new Ronin stuff?
I was freaking out that he suited up again.
I knew it was gonna happen. He put the hood on. I'm like, let's go, let's go.
All right, I have my list. I'm gonna go from worst to best. Which, by the way, we were treated good this year. I don't think there was a single bad super or MCU or Marvel project this year.
There's some things I don't even. I think most of the stuff that I listed is in at least the mid tier, not
I
even
would
the bad tier.
Everything this year, I would probably say has is for me at least like a 7 out of 10 or higher.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, sure.
Which Wait, I'm sorry. There's two things that. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna flip these. Okay, so my list goes like this. At number 10, I have Black Widow. I gave it a 6 out of 10. Then at number 9, I have The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I gave that a 6.5.
I'm just way higher on that than most people. That's reasonable. You're probably more reflective of what actually people think.
At number 8, I put WandaVision with a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
At number 7, I put What If with a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
At number 6, I put Eternals with another 7 out of 10. At number 6, I put Venom Let There Be Carnage with a 7.5. Then at number 4, I put Hawkeye with an 8. Number 3, I put Loki with a 9. Number 2, I put Shang-Chi at a 9.5. And I put number 1, Spider-Man No Way Home with a 10.
Isn't it so funny to me that we've been talking about this movie for months and like we were hyping it up and it actually lived up to its hype? I don't think
Was
we've really ever had a movie done that.
Endgame, Infinity War, The Avengers.
Well, I think the first Avengers is like kind of a the first Avengers movie there was the MCU wasn't talked about like it is now.
No, definitely not. But
I think
I
Infinity War did. But this is Alex, I got to say I said after I got out of the theater, I was talking to my brother. I said, this might not even just be a top three MCU film. This might be a top three comic book movie of all time.
right.
Um, I think Infinity War is still better for me just because I think it has a better first act. But and I said this in my TikTok review. I said, my God, is the second and third act of this film just beautiful? And I gotta say it, William Dafoe, the Green Goblin, is the best MCU villain.
I have no choice but to agree. Love
The
Thanos.
best MCU villain.
Love Ultimate Ultron. Love Loki, but he was a fucking menace in this movie, bro. He was
Oh
crazy.
my God, bro. He throws it. The fight scenes are great, but his dialogue, just the way he looks in people, like, by the way, he felt like I was watching Joker versus Batman at some points.
Literally, Peter's like beating the shit out of him, and he's laughing his ass off the entire time. Which again, I'm saying it. I think I love the ending of this movie. I love the sad note that it ends on, but I liked it nonetheless. I still think this movie should have ended on Peter killing Norman.
That would have been so dark and so, like, I don't
I
think it
don't
would have
know.
worked, in my
No,
opinion.
I don't know what I was gonna do. I don't know what I would have done. I think I
I
would have
was,
like started like not freaking out in a bad way, like start like, oh my gosh,
he,
that's
you
crazy.
know, Defoe has that great scene in the first Spider-Man where it's Norman's like personality and then it's the Goblin. And he kind of has that again where he smashes the mask. And then when he goes, just like you could never tell. And it was like a fantastic thing that they did. It was
Yeah,
eh, like I was always on the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh shit, is that Norman or is that the friggin' menace to society, bro? It's like it was insane. And his delivery, he's the best line actor too, just the way he delivers the lines and stuff. I love when he's like, you
I would.
couldn't send me back. You couldn't, Peter. You're struggling. And it's just like he throws the Aunt May thing in his face. He's like, I just finished the job. You killed her. It's like, wow, bro, this guy he was just so good. And he's not in a lot of this movie. He just like disappears.
Yeah, it's crazy. I will say that man, this movie it feels like just yesterday the teaser came out
Right.
and was out over Doc Ock being revealed.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's and Alex, I want to ask you cuz I personally think that this is a Defoe's performance, Tom's performance, and the cinematography of this movie is award-winning material. Do you think that's true? I know they don't treat comic book movies. They don't think that's real cinema. Um,
I
but
do.
do you think this there's some Academy like winning before? I think Defoe for
The
sure.
score of this was amazing. The score of the movie was amazing. Um, all of it, and I like the ending, like the Marvel opening credits, where it's. I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering. Yeah, I have the video. I can always go back and look. Where it's like the news report at the end of Far From Home. I still think "Drive That Funky Soul" which should have been the opening song. I think that would have. Well, it kind of would have spoiled Toby's inclusion, but still, I don't care. I would have laughed my absolute ass off.
I I just this movie is so hard for me to process because there's so much good stuff, and I want to get back to Toby and Andrew because I think I love their first scene with Tom. He's like, "You don't know what I'm going through," and then I bawl my eyes out when he talks about Gwen, Andrew. I'm like, "No, man, no." And then Toby's like, "Ben, I lost Ben." He's like, "Oh man, oh man." It's just like, and then I love the scene. We actually get to see them be scientists, bro, and that's shit I love.
Yeah,
Andrew puts the lab coat on.
and then I like how Ned's like Peter, and they're just like, huh? Loved it. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I think this movie was worth every single penny.
I also love when Ned's like, "Yo, did you have a best friend?" And Toby's like, "Yeah, he kind of tried to kill me, and then he died in my arms." And Ned's like, "Ah, cool."
Yeah, I wish. I wish. I was hoping for a scene after he said that. I was like, "You're not gonna let me die in your arms, right?" And he'd be like, what? Nothing.
Oh, and I also love the pep talk that Toby gives to Andrew. It's like, "You're amazing, man. You're amazing." He's just like,
Yeah, he constantly kept saying, "You're amazing."
"Ah, man." He's like,
Yeah.
"Wait, you fought an alien in space?"
Yeah.
Like, I can't get over that. Oh my god. I was a part of the Avengers. Toby's like, "That's great. That's amazing."
What's
Who
the
are the
event?
Avengers? You were in a band? You were in a band?
Is that like a band?
Yeah, that is so good. That is so good. And then Toby yells at him like you get a Bully Maguire moment. It's like, how is this helping? It's just like, and then I love when Tom goes, Peter 1, Peter 2, and then Andrew just answers like Peter 3, Peter 3. It's
Yeah. I think
like,
maybe a missed opportunity. The fact that Toby Maguire did not say, "I'm going to put some dirt in your eyes."
yeah, that'd be so good.
Disappointed. Now the movie dropped from a 10 out of 10 to a 3 out of 10.
Oh
The,
man, it just
that is when they should have taken Toby from the movies. Is when he's on his Bully Maguire.
that would been so funny. So I gotta ask, so you didn't like so my thing with the references is I feel like and my big worry for this film was they were going to diminish the endings of the Spider-Man films prior. I actually feel like they elevate them.
Yeah. I my thing, and I wasn't here for the preview, but I did write the question, so go me. One of the things that I was really worried about the movie was Toby and Andrew outshining Tom. They didn't. I felt all of them shared the screen perfectly together.
And they're in a
Dude,
lot of this film. They're in like a lot
they're
of
in
the film.
the entire third act. Like it was awesome. I thought I'm really excited to potentially watch the Andrew movies with a little bit of higher hopes for him than
You
before.
thought he was good. Did you think he was good in this film?
I did. I thought he was really cool. It's my first time seeing him on in like I've watched clips from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. First time actually seeing his suit. The eyes kind of freak me out a little, but
I love their suits. And I will say it's like I kind of wish there was a little bit of an upgrade, but at the end of the day, I love Toby's suit. It's my favorite suit. I've said that. Um, uh, but yeah, and it's my thing is like with Toby. I love Toby. Like Toby Maguire, like his story, Spider-Man himself is a character I kind of idolize. And Toby's story, especially, it just like um yeah, it's just something special about his story and just seeing him again as like an adult now. Like I'm kind of becoming an adult. It's kind of like symbolic. It's like really, it's just beautiful how they did it. And I
Mm,
can't thank Feige, John Watts, the Sony and Marvel team. I mean, they just killed it. They knocked it out of the park, I think. And
crazy.
I
I think it's also weird to say that John Watts. I have to say, John Watts created Homecoming and Far From Home. It's crazy to believe that he also created this movie.
I'm
Like,
like, it's crazy. John Watts is now the director of what I don't think is a debate, the best Spider-Man movie
yeah, I think
and
my
one of the
thing.
greatest comic book movies of all time.
I think Far From Home was a little on the disappointing side, in my
Oh,
personal
for
opinion.
sure, for sure.
I just think that it's the first like post blip movie, 2024, big Spider-Man movie. How is he going to deal with Tony's death? And that's kind of it. Is I like that this movie really detached from Tony, like really detached from him.
All there is basically they use Stark tech, and that's not really or they talk a little bit about how Stark, which by the way, I think this movie also kind of sets up the plot of Armor Wars or like something like that. Like with what's up with Stark? Like who is in charge of that company? At this,
Pepper.
what's going on with it? Pepper, right? Pepper
There
is
was
still in charge.
Yeah, she's still CEO, which I was honestly kind of hoping that we would see Pepper make like an official statement.
I was like, wait, is Pepper gonna make an appearance? I'm like, wait, just gotta, kind of got to, right? Because like these are his drones.
I will say, um, I'm gonna wait for the movie to come out on Blu-ray and whatnot to really judge this. I still think Homecoming is probably the more rewatchable of the three. Um, Homecoming you can honestly just put on and just have a good time, and time will fly by
I went
for
to see it again this afternoon, so I've seen it twice already. Probably it. It's the only MCU movie I've ever. It's the only movie I've went to see twice. Besides Force Awakens, I went saw that like 3 or 4 times in the theater. Um, and the second time, it might have even been better because I knew what I was expecting and I was looking for other things.
yeah. I
Um, yeah,
I really liked it. I really like this movie. Easily a top. It's my top. After this MCU movie behind the Avengers.
I gotta ask, what moments did you cry at? I cried at Toby and Andrew's appearance. I cried kind of at May's death, and then I cried, like, kind of cried at the end because I thought of how beautiful it was, and their hero pose. Their hero pose was great when they
Yeah,
swing off of each other's webs. I'm like, oh my god, this is like, I'm like, this is not happening. It felt like a dream. Like you just dream about seeing this as a kid. You fantasize. We've been fantasizing about this for a year, and then to actually see it's just like what the hell am I? What? It was great. It was great.
May's death, the ending when Peter and MJ kiss, um, Peter's mourning of May, um, the whole
Great
fight,
scene.
the whole fighting at the end when Peter's like beating the shit out of Norman, thinking like about to kill him. Like, oh gosh, this man is like this poor child in the span of not even a year lost his mentor. Died first of all.
Right.
Came back, lost his mentor. What? 30 minutes after seeing him again.
Yeah.
Um, basically lost his spider sense because he died.
Right.
Got it back. Had his identity revealed. Then May dies. Friends forget who he is. The whole world forgets who he is. The Avengers forget who he is.
Now he's got to find his way again.
All of that, and I guess like if you cut off him dying and whatnot, all of that in the span of a year.
Beautiful. Just a beautiful. And his character arc was beautiful in this film. As the one kid who wanted to fix everything, just wanted to live his life as a secret. And he didn't want to lose his friends. And then he made the ultimate sacrifice to lose
Yep.
his friends, start his journey over by. Which, by the way, he lives in Rockefeller Square now, the
Mm,
location of the final fight of Hawkeye.
yep.
I think they're setting up Kingpin as the villain of the fourth Spider-Man film.
Maybe. I there's just a lot to say about this movie. it's crazy what I think they're gonna do with this movie, or what this movie's done and what it's gonna do setting up. But yeah, it's it's crazy. It's crazy that it's finally here. It's crazy that I've finally seen it. If I could
It's
go
crazy the
again,
money it's making, bro. Holy shit. I did not think it was gonna, and I think it's only gonna do better because of word of mouth. Everyone's talking it. And I will
Mhm.
say I've been kind of impressed by how well people haven't been spoiling this.
Yeah,
It's I've seen some stuff about it, but like it's not as been as bad as I thought.
what I said. At that time when Andrew and Toby are talking on the Statue of Liberty, and he was doing that thing that he was doing when he in that leaked photo of him on
Right.
set. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, that's the leaked picture.
Right.
Of
When they have Andrew down low like that, holding on the rail, and I'm like, yeah, we saw that like 3 months ago.
the leaked picture. That
Yeah.
really this was all happening. Yeah, I will say it was
And by the
the
way, all those leaks we talked about months ahead, they were all true.
yeah.
Everything we talked about on this show, everything. Which, by the way, it didn't devalue it for me at all.
Oh, I
Um,
mean, here's my thing on spoilers. I'm not a huge fan of them. I'm
right.
still gonna get surprised that they're going to happen. I think it honestly just hurts the viewing after the fact. Just because you're like, oh, well, I kind of knew it was going to happen. So, but of course, during the movie,
I didn't know
you know,
May was gonna die.
I didn't either, dude. I was shook that she was dying. I was like, oh my gosh, because Aunt May didn't die, as far as I'm aware, in the Amazing Spider-Man duology. She
Nah,
didn't die in the Raimi trilogy.
no.
She dies in the PS4 game.
So so my thing with this is, and I want to continue to talk about this because I am fascinated by this. The whole thing is that they had a hard time getting Toby for this movie, right? Because Toby wanted the Brinks truck for this movie. He wanted a lot of money to be in this movie, and rightfully so. He deserves it.
I
Andrew was
bet.
like, "Yeah, I'm all on board." He is like Andrew is born to play Peter Parker. And by the way, that's a big movement now. Do you think he gets a TASM 3?
I think he should. I think he still got it.
I think he does. I will say for Andrew or for Toby, if they want to use him, just use him like you did here. I don't need another Toby movie.
No, I
Um,
feel, I feel like at this point, what are you gonna say? What, the last movie came out in 2007?
right.
What, like 20 years later?
Him as a dad? Like, do I need to see that? It'd be cool, I guess, but like then it would be too much. Andrew deserves TASM 3.
Yeah,
Um,
I wouldn't
and
know
I,
how to
th-
picture it, but or how that movie could go down. But yeah, yeah, I
but my
agree.
thing, yeah, my thing is I think they're definitely coming back because why not just kill Toby there? I feel like it'd be a really emotionally impactful moment.
I think they're gonna come back, and I think if they were gonna set up that they weren't gonna come back, then they would have killed off Toby. That
Right,
would
right.
that would solidify that they weren't coming back.
And by the way, when there's a good HD image of it online, I think my back screen for everything is going to be that image where Andrew's holding up Toby, or them hugging, or the shot their hero poses when they're all on the Statue of Liberty.
Mine is gonna be I'm still waiting because it was a poster for No Way Home. Was Peter mourning May's death by standing in like the night of New York
Yeah,
with all the buildings lit up? That's gonna be mine. It's gonna be my phone background. It's gonna be my background everywhere.
yeah. I think they come back in Secret Wars. I think they come back in the next big team up movie. Um, with
Maybe.
it's going to be crazy. I just there's so much good stuff in the MCU. Morbius next, which I did see a preview for. You're not gonna watch it. You're a bum. You're a bum.
Still not watching it. Still not
You're
watching
a
it.
bum. You're a
I don't
bum.
care,
Did you?
I don't care if it sets up like I don't care if it sets up the biggest MCU project of all time. I'm not going to the movie to watch it.
It looks fantastic, dude. I gotta say, it does look good. It looks really good.
Yeah.
So suggest you
Well,
watch it
yeah. I will say after we are done
because we
going,
are talking about it.
I know you're gonna probably try to make me talk about Morbius. I'm gonna be like, well, I didn't see the movie, and then you're gonna make me go see it, and I'm not going to.
Okay. You'll cave at some point. You'll definitely cave.
Guarantee you, I won't.
You're a bum, bro. You're a bum. You're actually a bum.
Morbius, bro. Who cares?
Bro, it looks great. It's Jared Leto as a supervillain, bro. Come on now.
Be a vampire superhero, I'll just wait till Blade comes out.
Dude, it's just like saying, who the fuck wants to watch like what's coming out that's weird? Who wants to watch a Black Adam movie?
Who does?
Right. So you going to see that?
No.
Okay, then you're at least consistent.
Well, I will say
No, no, no.
for that to come out before I make judgment. The movies next year that I am for sure going to go see: The Batman, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, Wakanda Forever if it's happening,
Holy shit, that movie's a mess.
The Marvels.
The Flash?
No, The Flash, that's coming out next year. And I think that's it for movies.
Okay, that's fair.
Is that all? Are those all the movies coming out?
Right.
Are
Rogue.
those the movies coming out, Mister?
Yeah, I think so. No, the Marvels doesn't come out next year. It comes out 2023 now.
Right, it got delayed.
Which, by the way,
God,
we might only have 2 Marvel movies next year. I don't know what's going on with.
I know that's so crazy. How what this year we got? I'm sorry. After the Yelena thing, where it's like, wow, that is so, or this must be so crazy. I always feel so weirdly obligated to say how she did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 movies this year. I think this is the most movies to come out
Well,
in a year.
4 from the MC. Well, 4 from the MCU if you don't count Venom, but that's a superhero movie. Why not just throw it in?
But even then, it's a Marvel superhero movie, and it has MCU Spider-Man in it.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, this is. Like, I have a hard time talking about this movie because I'm still trying to process it. You just got out of the theater, and it's been a day for me.
Yeah, literally, when we went live, I had maybe been home for 3 minutes.
I mean, just wow. Just
Oh, it's
you got
crazy, bro.
anything else? You got anything else to talk about with it, or
No, I was actually about to convert to StreamYard on my computer so I can download the Multiverse of Madness trailer from my phone.
uh, and that's probably the next. I don't know when they're gonna officially release it online, but we'll talk about it then, more in depth, I guess. But we'll be back next. Oh, by the way, guys should get a shout out to Benedict Cumberbatch. I thought he was good in this movie. He was solid.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a
He
huge
wasn't.
Doctor Strange fan, as it is. I'm not a big fan of him.
I still say it to this day. I don't care what anyone says. Supreme Strange is the best written Doctor Strange
Oh,
out of his.
absolutely. Holy hell, that What If episode is great. That's another great moment we got from this year.
I'm still waiting. There are a few moments in the MCU that, if they ever happen, bro, I would lose it. That is, if Spider-Man kills someone, or if Tony Stark came back to life.
Secret Wars. Secret Wars. Secret Wars. It's happening. Secret Wars. He will be back. RDJ.
Secret Wars is gonna happen.
What year?
Yeah. What did they announce it?
No, but that's kind of what every insider says they're leading up towards into, and I'm probably gonna say 2025-ish, 2026, but it's gonna be like it will be longer built out than oh my god. Wow, there's 3 of you now. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Hey, now I'm back on my computer.
Uh
Yeah. Secret Wars,
so
dude. If they ever do Secret Wars, I will freak out. I'm about to start the comic series for it, and I'm so excited.
because it'd have to be like 2 to 3 movies. Like it'd be like Infinity War Endgame, maybe even a trilogy. So it'd be a lot. It'd be crazy.
Oh, wait. Hold the applause.
Hold on. Hold the line.
Oh, this is for after we're done on here.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for the show. We'll be back next Wednesday to recap the finale of Hawkeye. Man, doesn't that feel weird to say? It feels like it just started.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back to also talk about the Book of Boba Fett. By the way, some exciting comments by Robert Rodriguez. The trailers only show the first half of the first episode, so
Oh,
we got some juicy stuff probably in that show. Excited to talk about it with Alex if he shows up. But
I will be there.
um,
Well, I'm gonna try
okay, just let me
because
know.
I probably, I probably will.
Okay, uh, yeah. How are you feeling by the way? You over COVID?
Hey, I tested negative.
Awesome, awesome. But you feeling all right?
Yeah, feel great.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, it's gonna do it. We'll be back. Go watch it if you haven't watched it, or why are you watching this if you haven't? So,
Right.
peace out, everybody.